Good day to you. This is the 28th day of January 2026. I just wanted to give a brief video on Zeno's paradox, which I mentioned quite a bit. This is a very, very famous diagram. There you see a Greek. This paradox has baffled every single mind that's ever faced it. It does not baffle me. It's very difficult to solve. The only way to solve Zeno's paradox, I'll show you every single step to solve this. This is never explained. Zeno's paradox just hangs over mathematics like an evil cloud. It has a profound answer that goes to the profundity of my discovery. Zeno's paradox has different forms. That is, Zeno himself found several examples of how his paradox applies across the board in juvenile mathematics. Mathematicians, physicists use the exact same mathematics that the Greeks did. Modern mathematicians use exactly the same mathematics. No changes have been made. It's quite an illusion to think that the calculus changed everything. It did, but it goes into the evil side of life, which I don't like to dwell on. So what is Zeno's paradox? It's the difference between 0 and 1. It illustrates the mistake of thinking that 0 is a number. You'll see that these numbers are half, quarter, 8. These are inverse powers of 2. So the way we write power numbers, 10 to the first is 10, 10 to the second is 100. Okay, so I don't need to dwell on that, you understand that. But in binary, it's the same thing. It's just that you don't use base 10, which is really arbitrary. Another fact that nobody teaches you in school. Who ever said that 10 is the right base number for a number system? The universe teaches us there's only one correct base to a number system, and that is 2. It's the number 2. But that's a magic number for that reason. There's only one number less than 2, and that is 1. Oops, a daisy, that's not what we were taught in school. Then there's another lie that's piled right on top of that. First of all, no, there is no number less than 1. If you hold on to that thought, you won't be fooled by any of these paradoxes. There's no such thing as the number 1/2. That is not a number. That's an invention of the human mind, that there's such a thing as 1/2. This is with respect to the concept of a counter, which refers to a quantity. All of this is extremely deep and profound. I discovered all this. Well, I'm just like that runner. He's happy, you can tell. That is not a sad runner. Let's look at that guy. So this runner here is a whole Greek who is being fooled by mathematics. And all of your mathematicians are basically whole Greeks. The paradox is that no matter how fast you go, you can't get to 0. The solution to the problem is to question the setup. Who says that you're running to 0? You're spoiling their little 3-card Monte trick. You're preventing the robbers from robbing you. You're preventing the pranksters from pulling their prank, which will make them frustrated, and they may want to do something worse to you. So you got to be cautious. Mathematicians are crazy. They're lunatic people. None of them can solve this paradox, by the way, so I really love this. It's set up so that you see there's a closed line, which is a fixed distance that the runner now needs to run. But what Zeno said is that you can prove that the runner has to run halfway, at which point half the distance is left, but you see that's also a finite distance. So then you run halfway again, and then again. And it can be proved on an asymptotic curve that you never reach 0. You can't actually finish the course. Doesn't that entail a contradiction? Because this is a misrepresentation, which really is too bad. That is a powerful diagram. It just has a flaw in it, so I can't show it to you. But here's our geometric version. 0 is the killer. Nobody ever realized, well, it seems like it's unavoidable. That's because of Euclid. In order to get the distance between 2 points, which is his definition of a straight line. There is no avoiding a zero, or you don't have an origin for the metric unit. You can't have a 1 on a line without a 0. Throw the damned line out if it has to have a 0. It's not real. There is no such thing as a straight line. Nowhere in nature. Now, one of my listeners 2 years ago left a comment, because that's a rather provocative statement. He said, what about crystals? That's a very, very interesting objection. That doesn't change a fucking thing, but you see, aren't there straight lines in crystals? Doesn't a diamond show geometric straight line? Actually, in physics, there is no such thing as a straight line. Einstein proved that, by the way. I don't know if you realize this. This is not commonly taught this way. When Einstein discovered that for any distance, for instance, to a star, there is also a perpendicular distance in time. That means that that is not a straight line to that star. And that star is not where it is. It's a direct contradiction with reality to say that you're measuring a straight line to the star. Well, that's really weird because it's the photon that's giving you that information. It's the photon that remembers where it came from and tells us when the photons reach Earth, and we have a photograph, that photon is pointing exactly back on a radius to its source, which is no longer there. So it's pointing back to an imaginary source because the star has moved. Anything that you think you're taking a straight line measurement to, you're not. You're just kidding yourself. It's moved. That's in the Quran. That's a Sufic teaching that I uncovered from Muhammad, the Quran, actually from Gabriel, actually from Allah. This is sacred stuff. I teach sacred mathematics. It's based on sacred geometry, which I did discover. Nobody else knows exactly what sacred geometry is. That's what I teach. Ruins the game of the mathematicians. Is there such a thing as zero? No, absolutely not. So why are we taught that there's such a thing as zero? You won't understand the unity of the universe. That the lowest number in the universe is 1. And Cantor wasted his time. Riemann, Hilbert, Einstein wasted his time. Only I have evolved. I just think that that's precious. Einstein, when he said God does not roll dice, he does not believe in God. Never point the finger at a man. You'll have your finger chopped off. And don't speak out against a single man. You'll have your head chopped off. I never do that. I'm actually an altruist. I'm on the side of all good men. But if you're an atheist, you're not even human, you understand. It's extremely serious. Well, in mathematics, the equivalence of atheism is belief in Euclid, because everything is based on zero. So that's Zeno's paradox. That once you realize that the distance that you're crossing is a unit, then all you're doing is dividing up the unit. That reverses the whole paradox. Instead of trying to get to zero, which does not exist, you're simply manipulating a whole. That's with a W, not the asshole. That's W-H-O-L-E. Thank you for tuning in. We'll have something more later. But I thought that you should have the solution to Zeno's paradox. Thank you.